spiritual wonder. So last 15 years we built the temple. Finally, that is this year, last April 10th only, we pratishtha that 108 Sivalinga and did Kumbhabhisekam. For only. And other thing, that Sivalingas also not shaped or polished anything. All are real, all are Swayambhu. So here only you can see this type of 108 Sivalinga in one place. Another thing, here you can see our Guruji, Gayatri Siddha Murugesh Maharishi. He is the founder and Guru. So he attained Samadhi 2007, is Jiva Samadhi only here. So every Paurnami, here we are doing a special Guru Puja, Gayatri Puja, Yajna. That is more than 1,000 people coming all over the island, morning to noon. Then after we are giving mass feeding, Annadan. Sunday also same Guru Puja, we are conducting Sunday school also. That's we are doing here. Another thing, we have a small spiritual museum. That is our Guruji's collections are there. Some Siddhas, Rishis worship things, use things. And also our Guruji use things are there. That is Agastya Maharshi script, Boga Rishi's magic stick, Tirumoolar Rishi worship Agnilinga, Navabhashana, Sanjeevani Butti, Vyas Maharishi's Bhiksha Bhatar, Valmiki Rishi's Akshaya Patar, lot of things you can see there. So that's all, this is the our Gayatri Peetam history. Okay? Thank you very much.
Bolo Hari Hari Mukunda Murari Rama Krishna Hayagriva. Narsimhavamana Srimadusudana Brajendra Nandana Shama. Putana Gatana Kaitabashatana Jaya Dasarati Rama. Yashoda Dulala Govinda Gopala Vrindavana Purandhara. Gopi Priya Jana Radhika Ramana Bhuvana Sundara Bhora. Ravana Thakura Makana Taskara Gopi Jana Vastrahari. Brajera Rakala Gopa Vrindapalo Chittahari Vamsidhari. Yogendra Bandhana Srinandanandana Brajajana Bhayahari. Navina Nirada Rupa Manohara Mohana Bamsi Bihari Yashodanandana Kamsa Nishudana Nikunjara Savilasi Kadamba Kanana Rasa Parayana Vrinda Vipina Nivasi Ananda Vardhana Prema Niketana Pulashara Yoja Kakana Gopangana Gana Chitta Vinodana Samasta Guna Gana Dhamma Yamuna Jivana Kili Parayana Manasa Chandra Chakora Namashuraras Go Krishna Yash Rako Vachanamana Mohora Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janaballabha Giridharadhari Gopi Janaballabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yashodanandana Prajajanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Giridharadhari Gopi Janabalabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Gaur Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Hari Bo, Nitai Gaur Hari Bo. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat Nasta Praeshu Vabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. So we are continuing our presentation on the pastimes of Lord Krishna worshipping the Govardhan hill. This is taken from the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 24. So we explained how Lord Krishna was presenting to his father, Nanda Maharaj, that there was no real need to worship Indra. Did you ever try preaching to your father? It could be the most difficult, challenging thing, you know. Some people, why didn't Prahlad preach to his father? Oh my goodness, you know. Prahlad did try, right? Look what his father did. Anyway, Lord Krishna is similarly faced with this challenge. He has to convince his father, Nanda Maharaj, who is his eternal associate from the spiritual world, who's come to Gokul with him to perform their pastimes. And Nanda Maharaj, along with the other people of Vrindavan, were preparing to worship Indra. So Lord Krishna had asked them, he'd asked his father, is this shastric, or is this just some tradition which you have? So Nanda Maharaj admitted this is tradition, but he then he explained the basis behind the tradition, that the worship of Indra is very important for us, because Indra is the god of rain, and the clouds are all his representatives. They're under his control. And the clouds are very important to provide rain so that the crops can grow. In the times of Nanda Maharaj, they didn't use chemicals, right? There was no insecticides or pesticides or fertilizers, they simply depended on nature. And they grew crops. And of course, they've been growing crops for hundreds and thousands and millions of years without any problem, until Kali Yuga came and the scientists come along with their ideas about how to improve production and how to get more grains and bigger harvest, less endeavor, and we can see the problems which are created. Anyway, Lord Krishna is not very happy with the people of Vrindavan, that they're worshipping some demigod in his presence. He's personally come there and they're worshipping some demigod to get material benefit. All right. Material, that's the result of worshipping other gods other than the Supreme. You get results which are limited and temporary. So those whose minds are distorted by material desires, they will worship gods other than the Supreme Lord. So Lord Krishna wants to correct the situation, and to correct this mistake which Nanda Maharaj and the people of Vrindavan has made, Lord Krishna begins to speak some different philosophies. And these philosophies are actually atheistic. Lord Krishna doesn't really believe in them. Of course, he doesn't believe in them. But he's presenting these philosophies because he's omniscient. He knows the future. He knows what he wants. There are three purposes to be achieved, right? First of all, he wants to correct the pride of Indra, who was his devotee. And he's become proud and thinking that he's independent of the Supreme Lord. And then secondly, he wants to inaugurate the festival of Govardhan Puja, which we are going to have on Wednesday, I think, is it? Yeah? Coming up. So every year, it's a very nice festival, very important festival. Then we have to celebrate it. And Lord Krishna wants to inaugurate this festival. And the third reason is that Lord Krishna wants to enjoy the company of his devotees, his very intimate devotees, the Brijbasi people, and he will enjoy their company for 7 days uninterrupted under the shelter of the Govardhan Hill. So these are the three reasons behind this whole pastime. So Lord Krishna began to present his arguments to Nanda Maharaj by telling him karma mimamsa philosophy, which is an atheistic philosophy with a belief in reincarnation. And the idea behind the karma mimamsa philosophy is that work is supreme. You just have to do the work. If you do the work, you will get the results. Of course, we know it's not true. Everybody's working, we're all working, not everybody gets the results they want. Anyway, Lord Krishna presented to Nanda Maharaj that work is important. You just do the work and the results will come. Lord Krishna then went on to speak some other philosophies. He explained about the importance of swabhav, one's conditioned nature. I was explaining yesterday how everyone has their particular nature. Somebody is very happy to worship the deity in the temple. Somebody is very happy to study Shastra. Someone else likes to manage and organize things and make arrangements for everyone. It's more the Kshatriya mood. There's the Brahminical mood, there's the Kshatriya mood, and then there's the Vaishya mood. The Vaishya mood described in Bhagavad Gita. Krishi go raksha vaninam Vaishya karma swabhavajam. Swabhava, again, the nature of the Vaishya. They do Krishi, farming, and in Krishi go raksha vaninam, farming, taking care of the cows, and then doing trade, and then also some banking or money lending, probably, this kind of thing. These 4 activities are mentioned for the Vaishya. And the Sudra, they are the servant of the other people. They will do the work under direction, under instruction. So Lord Krishna said, everybody has a nature. All right? The Brahmins meant to study the Vedas or teach the Vedas. The Kshatriyas are meant to protect the people, manage them, protect them, not to exploit them. And the Vaishyas, they're meant to do things, like I said, taking care of the cows. And of course, that is what the people in Braja, in Vrindavan are doing. Their main business was taking care of the cows. And Nanda Maharaj has a big 9 lakh cows. So it's a big job. Everyone's busy taking care of the cows. Churning the milk into butter, and then from the butter making cheese, and then ghee and yogurt, different things, milk products. And then also cow dung, which has to be gathered. In those days, they would be cooking on cow dung. And so many services are there, keeping the cows clean. In the times of Nanda Maharaj, they were very careful to protect the cows, taking care of them, brushing them regularly, bathing them, decorating them. Cows have feelings just like everyone else. They have feelings, and they know when they're being properly taken care of. And when they're properly taken care of, then they're happy to give their milk. They simply want some grass and some water to drink, and they're happy if they have they also, of course, need a clean place. The cow barns have to be cleaned every day. The cows have to be properly taken care of. It's a big job. So people in Vrindavan, the gopis, the cowherdmen, they're all busy taking care of the cows. Lord Krishna explains that we are Vaishyas. The people in Vrindavan are Vaishyas. They take care of the cows. So the argument may come, oh, taking care of the cows, then you also depend on Indra, because the cows will need water and they need grass. And if you don't get rain, you won't be able to have enough grass to feed the cows. In 1976, there was a drought in Andhra Pradesh. There was a serious drought. No rain the whole summer. And it was a very big problem for the farmers. So they formed a committee to try to raise funds to help the farmers so that they could take care of their animals and take care of their family during the drought. And they wrote to Srila Prabhupada. And they asked Srila Prabhupada, they said, Swamiji, you are the head of a big society, international organization. You kindly donate for this drought relief fund. So Srila Prabhupada wrote back to them and told them that the problem is you're not doing enough yajna. If you will do more yajna, then there will be rain. And Prabhupada quoted the verse which we quoted yesterday from the Bhagavad Gita, that all living entities subsist on food grains, and food grains are produced by rain. Rain is produced by sacrifice. and sacrifice is born of prescribed duty. So Prabhupada explained, you have to do yajna, then you will get rain. And so it happened that a program was arranged for Srila Prabhupada in Hyderabad. And we have our temple there in Hyderabad. We have 2 temples or 3 in Hyderabad now. But very big temple there in Abbots, which is in the center of Hyderabad. Land was donated, devotees constructed temple there. So Prabhupada had come there and a pandal was arranged. And had the pandal, they had a big kirtan. And that night it poured with rain. So the report came in the newspaper. Hare Krishna movement, bring the rain. Bring relief from the drought. And so Prabhupada proved that you do yajna, you do Sankirtan, and you will get the rain. Of course, Prabhu said yesterday, one Prabhu said yesterday, they're having farm, they're doing Sankirtan, and you're getting too much rain, was it? Or not enough rain? Huh? Huh? Too much rain. Yeah, it's a problem. There's always some problems we have to tolerate. Anyway, the principle is you do yajna and you get rain. So Lord Krishna was explaining to Nanda Maharaj, it's important, you just do work. And then Lord Krishna went on to explain another atheistic philosophy, that work is worship. Work is our devata. Of course, Lord Krishna doesn't believe this, but he's presenting this argument to his father just to bewilder Nanda Maharaj so that he can inaugurate his Govardhan Puja. Anyway, this idea that work is worship is quite a common philosophy. People do have that, often have that kind of understanding about life. Lord Krishna went on to explain, to support this idea that work is worship, he presented atheistic Sankhya philosophy. Right? There are 2 kinds of Sankhya. There's atheist Kapila and there's Devahuti Putra Kapila. We know the Devahuti Putra Kapila from the 3rd canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But most people don't know that Kapila. Most people know only the atheist Kapila. And the atheist Kapila, he presents the philosophy that life comes about from interaction of chemicals, that matter interacts to produce life. And this philosophy had been around a long time, long before Lord Krishna appeared. It was also there. There are these different theories, atheistic philosophies. It's not something new. We think, oh, it's a new atheist. No, it was there a long time ago. And Lord Krishna even mentioned it himself, just to convince Nanda Maharaj to give up the worship of Indra. So the atheistic idea is that the modes of nature are supreme. We say, from the mode of goodness, there is maintenance, right? Lord Vishnu, he is the maintainer. Brahma, he is the creator, and he is in charge of the mode of passion. And Lord Shiva is the annihilator. He destroys. At the time of devastation, he's the one to bring about the annihilation of the universe. So here, they were telling, this is the place where Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva appeared. They appeared to, in the form of Trimurti, and they appeared to Ravana's son Meghalaya or Indrajit, and they gave him blessings. Anyway, Lord Krishna was explaining to his father, the modes of nature are supreme. It's the clouds which cause the creation. It's not Indra. Indra didn't do anything. It's the mode of passion. Everything comes about from the mode of passion. It's the cause of the creation. If there's no passion, there'll be no creation. Right? You want a child, there has to be some passion there. The same way you want creation, you want to begin something, some project, there has to be some passion. The same way there has to be this passion. And the mode of passion creates the clouds, and the clouds come and pour the water on the land, and the crops can grow, and the cows get grass and water, and they can be happy. So this is the atheistic Sankhya philosophy, that everything came about just simply by the modes of nature, just due to the mode of passion. So the mode of passion produces the clouds, and the clouds come and they pour water everywhere. Lord Krishna is saying, Indra didn't do anything. Indra is not responsible. It's the mode of passion which did it. It's that Rajagun. Indra didn't do it. And then Lord Krishna said, when the clouds come, they drop their water sometimes on the ocean. There's already so much water there in the sea, and the clouds are pouring water on the sea. What good is that? Sometimes the clouds pour water on barren land or on the rocks, where there's no hope of anything growing. So all of these things happen. Is Indra responsible? No, it's just happening. It's just the material nature. It's not due to Indra. In this way, Lord Krishna was presenting his arguments to his father. You cannot think Indra's worshipable. Is that for you to go and worship Indra like this, it's like an unchaste wife. Hey, Lord Krishna, he's so upset with the people of Vrindavan, so upset with his own father that he's speaking in quite a harsh way. He said to go and worship Indra, it's like an unchaste wife. Oh, would you like that? If you're a nice woman. Oh, it's not a nice thing to say to someone, is it? Lord Krishna is giving this example because he's so upset that the people of Vrindavan have taken to the worship of Indra, and they're performing this ceremony for the pleasure of Indra. Unchaste wife. She has a good husband at home who's maintaining the home and providing everything, but she's having an affair with a lover. Right? She's thinking only of her lover, and she doesn't think about her home and her family. So that's the unchaste wife. In the same way, the people of Vrindavan, they're being the Supreme Lord. He's the one who's providing for them, their prosperous family and their situation. Who's providing for them? It's not done by Indra. It's done by the Supreme Lord, the personality of Godhead. Swayam Bhagavan Sri Krishna alone is responsible for this. And he's the one who should be worshipped. But they're going and worshipping Indra. Just try to imagine the situation. So how does Lord Krishna feel? He is not happy with it. And that's why he has come. And he's presented these different philosophies. We heard Sridhar Swami points out, he said there are 6 different philosophies which Lord Krishna presented. One was, we mentioned karma mimamsa, and then the other was that the modes are supreme, and then he talked about swabhava, our nature, we should work according to our nature, and then he spoke about the modes of nature being above everything, and then he spoke about that the Lord himself is under the control of the material nature. And different philosophies. It's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, 6 different points which Sridhar Swami identifies as all being principles which Lord Krishna had brought up to defeat his father and to convince his father to give up this worship of Indra. So Lord Krishna then continued, and he went on and said, our home is not in the city, and we're not living in any village. We don't need to go to a foreign country. He said, we're living here in the forests of Vrindavan. Vrindavan is our home. The forests are here, and the Govardhan hill is here. We don't need to go other places. Everything is here for our needs. Nanda Maharaja, he's not so convinced. Anyway, Lord Krishna continues, he said, our home is here in the forest and with the Govardhan hill and the cows. He said, instead of worshipping Indra, you should worship Govardhan hill, and you should worship the cows, and you should worship the Brahmanas, because the Brahmanas are the representatives of the Supreme Lord. And we should worship them also. So Lord Krishna told his father, worship these things, worship the Govardhan hill. Govardhan hill because Govardhan hill does so much service. Of course, we only know Govardhan hill today. It's much smaller. Try to understand, 5,000 years ago, Govardhan hill was much bigger, and it was very tall, and there were waterfalls on the Govardhan hill, and there were so many nice grasses growing on the Govardhan hill. The cows would come and graze on the Govardhan hill, and they would drink the water from the waterfalls. Vegetables would grow there in the Govardhan hill. Wild vegetables would grow. Different roots and shrubs would grow, and the cows would come and they would enjoy grazing on the slopes of the Govardhan hill. So Govardhan hill was providing very nice service for Lord Krishna, the cowherd boys, and the cows. And Lord Krishna wants to encourage Nanda Maharaj and the cowherd men. We should worship the Govardhan hill, not this demigod Indra. Worship the Govardhan hill and the cows, because they're the ones providing our livelihood. They provide the milk, and from the milk you are making cheese and butter and yogurt and so many. All of your wealth is there in this produce. When Nanda Maharaj went to, what happened? Nanda Maharaj would sometimes have to go to Mathura to pay taxes. So when he would have to go to Mathura to pay taxes, he would bring milk produce. He paid everything in different milk produce. He'd bring paneer and yogurt and ghee and things, and this was his wealth. He didn't keep paper money, or it's not even paper these days, it's more plastic money today, you know. Everything is plastic. And so he didn't have any plastic. He had milk, he had real wealth. The real wealth of the people was in cow dung. You don't have any cow dung today. We're all paupers today. We don't have any cow dung. That's the real wealth. Cow dung is the fuel for cooking and for heating. So that Nanda Maharaj and the people of Vrindavan were not poor. Nowadays, you know, we go to Vrindavan and we see, we think, oh, they look very poor. But in the times of Lord Krishna, the people of Vrindavan were very wealthy. And it describes how the people dressed and how they had so many ornaments and jewelry. They were opulent. They didn't have tractors. They didn't use petrol. They didn't use these things which we're addicted to today. They had real wealth in the natural resources. So Lord Krishna wants to encourage his father. He said, instead of worshipping Indra, we should worship the Govardhan hill, the cows and the brahmanas. So Nanda Maharaj says to his son, well, Krishna, he said, yeah, we could do both. Let's do both, you know. Well, you can do your Govardhan Puja and we'll worship Indra. And, why don't we just do both? But Lord Krishna said, oh, no, Papa. That's not the way. You have to understand, this Govardhan Puja is elaborate and we will need everything. We will need all the paraphernalia which you've collected for your Indra Yagya and more. We will need it all for the worship of the Govardhan hill. So Lord Krishna, very difficult to defeat Lord Krishna. And Nanda Maharaj has also seen how his son is a very, very special child. As we said yesterday, Gargacharya had told him, your son will be as good as Lord Narayan. And Nanda Maharaj has also seen some of the childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna, how he killed different demons, even as a child. Putana, Vrittasura, Agasura, Saktasura, and the different demons came there in Vrindavan. Lord Krishna would defeat and kill them. So Lord Nanda Maharaj, he could understand something of the potency of his child. And so he agrees to Lord Krishna that, all right, then okay, let's do this Govardhan Puja. But he says to Lord Krishna, you have to tell us how you want it done. So Lord Krishna begins to explain how he wants this whole festival done. And Lord Krishna explains that he wants all nice foodstuffs, all varieties of foodstuffs should be prepared and offered to Lord Krishna. There should be hot things, hot things like dal, right? We need some dal, there should be some nice bean soup, there should be cold things like sweet rice, right? Sweet rice should not be hot, right? We used to make sweet rice. When I was in New York temple, we used to make sweet rice. For the Sunday feast, we'd cook it on Thursday. And we'd cook a lot of it, many gallons of sweet rice. We'd put it in the freezer and bring it out on Sunday. Oh, Sunday feast in New York in those days was really, really wonderful. People really appreciated the prasadam. Anyway, Krishna's explaining how many different varieties of food have to be prepared. There should be sweet, there should be salty, there should be sour, there should be pungent, right? You don't want just only sweet, you want also namkins, you want rice, you want all different varieties of sweets. One time in Los Angeles, the devotees had made some sweet for Prabhupada, and Prabhupada was tasting it, and he said, "What is this?" They had made it with something like marzipan. And you know, marzipan is not something very common in India. Anyway, you know, Prabhupada said, "Why don't you make the sweets I've shown you?" He said, "You should make the Bengali sweets, you know, milk sweets, rasgulla, right? You know, K.C. Das rasgulla? Bengalis all know K.C. Das rasgullas, right? The good rasgulla, when you eat the rasgulla, will squelch, right? Should make the right sound. You know, oh, it's a very good rasgulla. So, there should be rasgulla, there should be sandesh, there should be burfi, there should be so many different varieties of sweets are there. Rasamalai and Gulab Jamun. Gulab Jamun, yeah, that's milk powder, right? But anyway, the idea is all different varieties of sweets should be prepared. All different varieties of foodstuffs. Prabhupada liked very much kachoris. He was called Kachori Mukh. As a young boy, he was so fond of kachoris, he got the name Kachori Mukh. So, of course, kachori is not a very easy thing to make. You have to be a good cook, expert, making these kind of things. This is what should be made for Govardhan Puja, to offer to the Lord all different varieties of foodstuffs. And Lord Krishna said all of these things should be prepared and they should be offered to the brahmanas. And then Lord Krishna also mentioned, he said, feed the brahmanas and give them also charity, because the brahmanas will come and they will recite the Vedas. So you give them nice foodstuffs, give them some charity, even you can give them some cloth, like that, and satisfy the brahmanas. And not only the brahmanas, but he said, Lord Krishna mentioned, even the dogs and the dog eaters should be given nice food, and they should be satisfied. So Lord Krishna, when he was describing to Nanda Maharaj how to perform this Govardhan Puja, he mentioned all different levels of living entities. The low-born, even the untouchables, everyone should be given nice prasadam without any kind of discrimination. Lord Krishna wanted this. Feed everyone nice prasadam. Just like Srila Prabhupada, when he was in Mayapur and he saw this situation in Mayapur, how some young children were going to the garbage where the thrown-outs were. And Prabhupada said to the devotees, he said, this is very bad. He said, you must arrange, no one should go hungry within 10 kilometers of the temple. So Prabhupada wanted, he said, there must be prasadam distribution. And I was in Mayapur during when everybody had that, what's it, COVID, yeah, the COVID thing. I stayed in Mayapur a couple of years during the COVID, and every day devotees were going out to different villages distributing prasadam in the village areas. That was very nice, in pursuit of Srila Prabhupada's desire. And Srila Prabhupada's desire is non-different from Lord Krishna's desire. That the Govardhan Puja is celebrated in such a grand way that the prasadam is distributed in huge quantities to everyone without any kind of discrimination. Even the dogs and the dog eaters, everyone should be given nice prasadam. So when Lord Krishna was describing all of this, he was giving the instructions to the people of Vrindavan. They have to be busy. They have to prepare everything. They have to take all the paraphernalia which they'd already gathered for the Indra Yagya and use all of it for the worship of the Govardhan hill. Lord Krishna explained that we offer everything to the cows. Well, the cows, of course, they should be given good grass to eat. And they should also be nicely decorated. Sometimes we will dress them nicely. You can read in the Krishna book how it tells about Maharaj Nriga, how he was giving cows in charity. And the cows which he gave in charity were all decorated, that their hooves and horns were all painted in gold. And they had pearl necklaces around their necks. And they had cloth, nice silken cloth also placed around them. So they were very well taken care of. And Maharaj Nriga would give these kind of cows in charity to the Brahmanas. So similarly, Nanda Maharaj, he has a big herd and they have to take care of all the cows. Give nice grasses. Govardhan Hill had the best grasses at that time. The grass on Govardhan was very pleasing to the cows. And then Lord Krishna said, we have to also circumambulate the Govardhan Hill. You have to go around the hill. Govardhan Hill now, it's only, 22 kilometers, is it? To go around the Govardhan Hill, it's not very far, 22 kilometers. You can walk around in 4 hours, 5 hours, depending on how you walk. In times of Lord Krishna, Govardhan Hill was much bigger. But still, Lord Krishna said, we should circumambulate the Govardhan Hill and take the cows, bring the cows also around the Govardhan Hill. And in this way perform the Govardhan Puja. Lord Krishna wanted everyone to take part in this festival. And of course we see today, Govardhan Puja is one of the most popular festivals around the world, especially in Vrindavan. Especially in Vrindavan, every temple in Vrindavan will celebrate Govardhan Puja. And there will be distribution of prasadam. And Prabhupada explains even sometimes the people, they throw the prasadam. But people don't mind to pick the prasadam from the ground because it's coming from Vrindavan. So the dust of Vrindavan is also prasadam. This is the mood during the Govardhan festival, that prasadam cannot be contaminated, and people will even take the prasadam from the ground and honor it. However, Lord Krishna also issued a warning. The warning was that if you don't do this Govardhan Puja, then you're in danger, that you may be bitten by the snakes on the Govardhan Hill. One time I was in London and I was the treasurer. Treasurer, it means I was in charge of the money. And people had to come to me to get money. So, I'm very miserly, naturally. I'm very miserly, I don't like to spend money. And so people would come, the pujari would come to me and say, we need money, Govardhan Puja. I would say, there's no money. Most of the time there was no money, but somehow, I was always amazed how the Krishna consciousness movement could go on. In those days, we never had any money, but still we were having festivals. So anyway, at this time the pujari was Mundakini. Mundakini is a Prabhupada disciple, of course, French lady, and she was worshipping the deities. So she said, if you don't give money, you will be bitten by the snakes of Govardhan. Okay. So I had to give her some money for the Govardhan. Anyway, that warning is there in the Srimad Bhagavatam that is described, that if anyone neglects this worship of the Govardhan Puja, then they're at risk. They may be bitten by the snakes on Govardhan, or maybe some rocks will fall from the Govardhan hill and you can be killed. You can die in that way. So the warning is there. How important we have this worship of the Govardhan hill is, this ceremony of the Govardhan Puja. And of course, Srila Prabhupada had great love for the Govardhan hill. In 1977, Srila Prabhupada was performing his departure pastimes, and he was in the Krishna Balaram Mandir, and his only thought was that I want to go around Govardhan hill. He was in a bedridden condition. He could not walk. His body was emaciated, but he was thinking, take me to Govardhan. I want to go around the Govardhan hill. And so the devotees were in despair. What to do? They thought, if Prabhupada goes to Govardhan, his body is so thin and he's so emaciated that it will kill him for sure, that he'll never survive. And they were pleading with Prabhupada, begging him, no, Prabhupada, you have to stay here. Prabhupada, please. But anyway, it was all Lila, just like we're hearing Rama Lila. Prabhupada also had his Lila with the devotees. He was encouraging all the devotees. He wanted to see the devotees' deep love and how much they really cared for him. So he was talking in this way, and he was trying to inspire them in their Krishna consciousness. Anyway, we were never actually able to take Prabhupada there, but after he departed, then we took Prabhupada's murti there, and we took Prabhupada in the murti form around the Govardhan hill. So Govardhan hill, the worship of the Govardhan hill, very special for all the devotees to take part in. We are hearing from the Srimad Bhagavatam, this Govardhan is Haridasa Varya. Yat Rama Krishna Charana Sparasa Pramodha, right? Hantayamadri Adari Haridasa Varya. Yat Rama Krishna Charana Sparasha Pramodha. The gopis are describing the glories of the Govardhan hill. In the Venu Gita, chapter 21 of the Bhagavatam, the gopis have already described that this Govardhan hill is the very best of all the devotees. And why is it the best of all the devotees? Because it does so much service for Lord Krishna. Actually, this hill of Govardhan is not different from Lord Krishna. When they had prepared all the different foodstuffs and they're offering them to the Govardhan hill, at that time, Lord Krishna assumed a transcendental form. another expansion of Lord Krishna. And he came, because Lord Krishna wants to convince all the people of Vrindavan that this worship of the Govardhan hill is actually having some effect. Therefore, he took this transcendental form and he told all the people, he told Nanda Maharaj and all the, look, Govardhan hill has come. And in this transcendental form, Govardhan hill began to accept all of the offerings, right? And Govardhan hill, in his transcendental form, he was eating. He was eating mountains of halava, oceans of sweet rice, rivers of chutney, rocks of samosas, and so many things. Govardhan is eating, and he's eating and eating. And they're thinking, whoa, he's eating so much. And he's shouting, Ani or, bring more, bring more. Right? So the people of Vrindavan were getting a little worried that Govardhan, wow, he has such a good appetite. He can take so much. He's eating, and he's saying, Ani or, bring more. They're bringing the buckets, they're bringing so many big pots and so many things. They're bringing, and Govardhan is taking it and eating, and he's still saying, Ani or. Oh, then they thought, oh, just a minute, maybe, let's try. Put some tulsis there, because we never offered any tulsis. So put some tulsi there on top. And as soon as they put the tulsi there, then, right? Then the Lord, in the form of Govardhan, he belched, and that means satisfied. Now I am satisfied. So in this way, they were able to perform the Govardhan pastime. Lord Krishna was very happy to see this wonderful display. Lord Krishna was so pleased that everything has been done so nicely, but there's one person not happy, right? And that, of course, is Indra. And he is going to react. So that will be the next chapter. We will go on to the next chapter tomorrow or the next day when we talk more on Govardhan Puja. All right, so maybe there's some questions or comments. Anyone? Yes, Prabhu?
Krishna Maharaj will accept my humble obeisances. So from the pastime perspective, we see, and Rupa Goswami will also written in the lecture instruction that what is the greatness of Govardhan, all the pastime, Rasa Lila pastime. We've also seen from a Tattva side that Krishna himself is Govardhan. So my question is, like, to what part he is the devotee of the Lord, and from a Tattva Rup, he is Vibhinamsa or Swamamsa. So Krishna Tattva versus the devotee Tattva.
Well, just like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord, but he also is come as a devotee. And so we see Govardhan, that he's the Supreme Lord, he's accepting the worship. Actually, it said Lord Krishna even offered obeisances to the Govardhan hill. When the Govardhan appeared, Lord Krishna offered his obeisances. And then all the people of Vrindavan, they followed Krishna. Because their only idea, the people of Vrindavan, their only thought is to do what Krishna wants. They're thinking about any other thing really. Their innermost desire is to please Krishna. Lord Krishna is the one who's in their heart, and they have that loving relationship with him. So when the Lord appeared as Govardhan, Lord Krishna bowed down, offered obeisances, and the people of Vrindavan also bowed down. They understood, this is the Govardhan. Lord Krishna, he's telling them, this is the Govardhan. He's appeared in this wonderful form to accept their offering. So the Govardhan hill is the Lord himself. Mahaprabhu was given a stone from Govardhan. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita it describes, one devotee came from Vrindavan and he brought a stone from the Govardhan hill along with some gunja mala, and he gave to Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya kept that stone with him for a few months. And regularly he would put it on his head, he would hold it in front of his eyes, and he would worship it. After a few months, he gave it to Raghunath Das Goswami. And he also instructed Raghunath Das Goswami how you could worship the stone from the Govardhan hill. Lord Chaitanya initially told him, you offer the Tulsi Manjaris to Govardhan, along with some nice pure, like maybe Ganga water or some very pure water, and you offer that with Tulsi Manjaris to the Govardhan. That is the best offering. Later on, Swarup Damodar also arranged that they would offer sweetmeats also to the Govardhan. But Lord Chaitanya he said, this stone is not different from Krishna. And he said he can see Krishna in that stone. So the Govardhan hill is a manifestation, it's an expansion of Lord Krishna. He's Krishna and he's also the devotee because he's serving the devotees. He's coming in them to give service. That's why he's called Haridasa Varya. There are many devotees called Haridas. Maharaj Yudhisthira was Haridas. Prahlad was Haridas. We know also Haridas Thakur. There's Junior Haridas, there's Madhyam Haridas, there's many Haridasis. But Haridasa Varya is the very best of all the devotees of Hari. Why? Because he does so much service. The grasses which grow there, the caves on the mountain of Govardhan. Lord Krishna would enjoy going sometimes into the caves of Govardhan, shelter from the hot sun or from the rain. Lord Krishna there's a gully there also. Sometimes the gopis would have to pass through that gully, and Lord Krishna would demand taxis from them. And their different pastimes would take place there at the Govardhan hill. The stones on Govardhan have a very special nature. In the summer, when it's very hot, the stones are cool. And in the winter time, in the cold winter, the stones on Govardhan are warm on the feet. This is the nature of Govardhan hill. That he has that mood of giving service to his devotees, arranging for their comforts, for their care. So Govardhan he is Lord Krishna himself, and at the same time he comes in the mood as a devotee. Just as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Lord, but he is coming in the mood of a devotee, distributing Krishna consciousness. So Govardhan hill is in a similar way. And we honor the Govardhan hill regularly. Devotees will go there and perform the parikrama. They will take stones from the... And Prabhupada even writes in the purport, he said devotees can take some pebbles, you can take some pebbles or small stones from the Govardhan and you can worship them. Of course, you should have permission from someone who's a resident of Vrindavan. And when you take something from Govardhan, you have to put back an equal amount of gold. So if you take a bigger stone, you have to put back more gold. Tamal Krishna Goswami, he was in charge of the temple in Houston, in Texas, and they wanted a Govardhan Shila, and they got this big Govardhan Shila, very big one. They have it there in the temple in Houston, and he said, but after they took that stone to Houston, he said, I had to spend so much money on the Govardhan Center. You know, Tamal Krishna had purchased one Govardhan Center along with Giriraj Maharaj and Keshava Bharati Maharaj. Together they had purchased what is now called the Bhaktivedanta Govardhan Center. And he said they had to spend a lot of money. He said, because we took that Govardhan stone, Krishna arranged, we had to put back a lot of gold there to repay for it. So you have to be very careful about taking a stone from Govardhan. You may get a lot of expenses. So Govardhan Hill is Krishna, but he's coming also in the mood of a devotee. How is he doing service? Because he's sheltering. We will hear during the wrath of Indra, Lord Krishna can pick up the Govardhan Hill and hold it up, and all the devotees, all the cows, everyone, they're all under the Govardhan Hill. They're all protected by the Govardhan Hill. So this is a wonderful service of Govardhan. Another devotee described, he said, when you go to Govardhan, you don't have to worry what time they're going to close the curtains. You know, you're in the temple, you're always, what time is Arti, what time's the Darshan, you know, wait for them to open the curtains. But in Govardhan, you have Darshan 24 hours a day. It's so wonderful. So that is the glory of Govardhan. All right, any other question? Yes? Can we have the mic? Yeah.
Maharaj, what is the difference between Govardhan Shila and Shaligram Shila? Are they the same?
No, exactly the same. We saw, they have some shaligrams here, actually. Shaligrams, well, they're coming from your place, they're coming from Nepal, right? You're from Nepal. Ganduki, from the Ganduki there is the place of the shaligrams, and the Govardhan Shila, well, stones from Govardhan, from the Govardhan Hill. They're offered different prayers. Generally, shaligram is Vishnu form. Different forms of Vishnu. There are different kinds of shaligram. The Lord Nrsingadev is, you have Nrsinga Shilas. You have even Sudarshan Chakra Shilas. So many different varieties and shapes of Shilas, shaligram Shilas. Shaligram Shila is worshipped by the Brahmanas. And the Shaligram Shila is a consort of Tulsi. Usually Shaligram, they have a ceremony every year. People bring their Tulsi to get married, right? Tulsi is like the daughter. You have to get your daughter married, and the marriage, Tulsi is married to Shaligram. So Govardhan is Krishna, and Lord Krishna enjoys the company of the gopis. So different prayers, but generally the principle is the same, that you worship the Shaligram Shila. You have to be pure, you have to be strict, you have to do it regularly. You have to do it every day. The Brahmanas, every Brahmana house, they will keep a Shaligram Shila and they will worship the Shaligram every day. It's customary among the Brahmana community to keep a Shaligram and to do their worship. And when they travel somewhere, they will take the Shaligram with them and do the worship of the Shaligram. And similarly, Govardhan, of course, you can also do that with the Govardhan. But Shaligram, particularly the Brahmanas, those and Prabhupada said we will introduce the worship of the Shaligram into our society. Now some people say that Lord Chaitanya gave Govardhan Shila to Raghunath Das because Raghunath Das was not born in a Brahmana family. The other Goswamis, they're from the Brahmanas caste. Although Rupa and Sanatan, they had lost their caste because of the association with the Islam, but still their birth was in the Brahmana caste. But Raghunath Das, he was from the Vaishya community. He was from the wealthy family. And some people say this is why Lord Chaitanya gave him Govardhan. He didn't tell him to worship Shaligram, he told him to worship. But Prabhupada refutes that. He said, this is not true. He said, it's not like that at all. He said, they're wrong. And anybody who is Brahminically qualified, they can worship the Shaligram. You have to be Brahminically qualified. And similarly, to worship Govardhan Shila, well, to do it properly, you should be a Brahmana. I've never heard that the Govardhan Shila is only worshipped by Brahmanas, but certainly Shaligram is only worshipped by Brahmanas. Yes, Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. We know that religious traditions are very important for maintaining a healthy society. Arjuna made the case in the first chapter of the Bhagavad Gita that with the breakdown of traditions, there will be Varna Shankara and all that. And also, Krishna, in the third chapter, he says that in the beginning of creation, he sent forth mans and demigods along with the process of Yajna. And that's a process, that's a whole system for creating a very prosperous society that can be elevated to Krishna consciousness. And these things have to be offered. Of course, he makes the case that, Yajna, that the beneficiary of this offering, Yajna, is Krishna, is Vishnu. But nevertheless, it is a system. And we know that Krishna is not necessarily addressing that the Vrijavasis are doing this without acknowledging Vishnu. I'm not sure. But even if it's like that, he just stopped the whole thing and put it aside and then introduce something that is a tradition for us, for followers or Vaishnavas, Braja Vaishnavas in one sense. But, it's stopping a tradition. He's making a case, is this traditional or this is in the scriptures? And So the question that I have is, this Govardhan Puja is meant for, you say Krishna was upset with the Brijavasis because they were worshipping a demigod. This is something that is meant for us, devotees of Krishna, or this is something that is supposed to be followed by everyone, but how it fits into that whole principle of traditions, you know, the whole yoga ladder that is important in one sense for different types of people in different levels.
Well, we have to understand that Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if we have faith in Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if he wants to establish a new tradition, if he wants us to worship the Govardhan Hill, we should accept it. And of course, Lord Krishna is also describing why worship the Govardhan Hill. I've also been talking about the Govardhan Hill and the glories of Govardhan Hill and the service he does. We want to appreciate this, that this Govardhan Hill is not an ordinary hill, that it is Lord Krishna himself, and it is the very best of all the devotees. So serving the devotees, we say Mahat Sevam Dwara Mahor Vimukta. By serving the devotees, it opens the doors to liberation. So if Govardhan Hill, if he is Krishna himself, or if he's the devotee, and if we do service for the Govardhan Hill, certainly it will be for our benefit. Lord Krishna wants to inaugurate this festival. And just like Nanda Maharaj, because he's an eternal associate of Lord Krishna from the spiritual world, he's naturally a devotee of Krishna. And when Krishna wants something, Krishna's asking him to do something, he will do it. Just like we read the Bhagavad Gita, and we want to follow what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, Sarva Dharmam Parigajnam Mamikam. He said, surrender to me. Certainly we want to surrender to Krishna. We want to follow Krishna's advice. Whatever Krishna wants us to do, we're ready to do it. Right? Lord Chaitanya comes and he asks us to do Sankirtan, to preach the holy name every town and village. We try to do it because it's the desire of the Lord. And our mission is to serve the desire of the Lord. So the more we understand Krishna's desire, that how much he desired that we should worship the Govardhan Hill, then the more we will be inclined to worship the Govardhan Hill and to make this a very nice festival. Whether it's a tradition, you may say, well, it's a new tradition, we stopped the old tradition, we stopped worshipping Indra, got a new tradition now. But we have to understand this tradition is given to us by Lord Krishna. He's teaching us that if you do like this, this will help you to grow in your surrender to Krishna, in your Krishna consciousness. It's a joyful festival in which everyone will benefit. Everyone enjoys the Govardhan Puja. Everyone enjoys the prasadam that day, right? And we always have nice kirtan, joyfully. We go around the Govardhan Hill. And we want to be happy. Lord Krishna wants to see us happy. So he inaugurated this festival. To sit in a Nidra Yagna won't make us happy. Right? But to have the Govardhan Puja, to have a nice mountain of prasadam, dancing and chanting around the hill, certainly it's a very joyful, very blissful festival. Lord Krishna wants to see us happy in Krishna consciousness. So he inaugurated this because he knows Kali Yuga, we're all disturbed, right? people in the Kali Yuga, Manda, Sumanda, Matayo, Manda Bhagya, Upadrit, lazy, misguided, unlucky, always disturbed. Lord Krishna knows Kali Yuga, we're not very happy. So he comes and he gives us the Govardhan Puja to make us all happy. And Lord Chaitanya comes to add on the Sankirtan to make it fully blissful. And so we have to understand, yes, it's a new tradition. You could say, Govardhan Puja, is it Shastric? Well, it's in Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Vyasadeva wrote about it. It may not be in the Vedas. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't read all the Vedas. But it's certainly there in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Nigamakalpataror Galitam Palam Shukamukadamrita Dravat. Srimad Bhagavatam is the ripened fruit of all the Vedas. The Vedic knowledge is all there in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And Lord Krishna is recommending this Govardhan Puja, that everyone should take part. So, yeah, we don't want to risk being bitten by the snakes and go. Yes, yes, Prabhu.
Maharaj, adding to what Subal Prabhu asked, so Krishna started the tradition of Govardhan Puja. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started the tradition of Sankirtan. Srila Prabhupada started the tradition of extending that tradition with temples in the West and book distribution. But it might sometimes seem overwhelming to add on to the tradition, right? There are more and more things that we are trying to do, and in the whole Varnashrama that Srila Prabhupada recommended, which is still work to be done. So a devotee may only have limited bandwidth, so where do we prioritize our activities?
Well, Lord Chaitanya didn't start the Sankirtan. It was already going on in the temples, but Lord Chaitanya brought the chanting of the holy name out of the temple. Previously, the chanting of the holy name could only be done by brahmanas. And if you were not a brahmana, you couldn't chant. But Lord Chaitanya brought the chanting out, gave it to everyone, wants everyone to take part in the chanting of the holy name. And so these things were there. And Varnashram, yes, there's a lot to be, we could say, you know, we have a long way to go in Varnashram, but some things are there, you know. Everything, it doesn't all happen immediately, you know. Buddhism has been here thousands of years, you know. They've had a long time, you know. Krishna consciousness is relatively new. Lord Chaitanya 500 years ago, Prabhupada 50 years ago, Prabhupada giving us the modern interpretation of Sankirtan, book distribution. And nowadays book distribution is kind of out of favor, and it's more internet communication, everything, soft copies, you know. Anyway, we have to go on. The principles are the same. The details change, but the principle is there, to give Krishna consciousness, to give the holy name. So Prabhupada says, the details can be adjusted, but the principles should remain. So the principle is giving Krishna consciousness. How much can we give? You know, we try our best to give. According to our ability, we try. Some people can go, like Prabhupada could go around the world and distribute Krishna consciousness in 10 years. You know, we're trying 50 years, you know. You know, we have to do what we can according to our empowerment, according to the mercy we get. We try and do some service for Krishna. So, yes, things change from time to time. We have to expect that. And we have to move with the times, move with the changes. Prabhupada was not against innovation and technology. in the more recent times, we began, the Damodar Puja. It became a very effective program to go out door to people and introduce the worship of Lord Damodar during this month of Kartik. Many countries in the world, they have a program to go out to people and get people to offer lamps. Even in Hong Kong, when I'm in Hong Kong at that time, we go out on the street and we take a little table and we have lights and we get people to offer candles to Lord Damodar right on the street. And, it's an innovation, it's something a little new, but, it's part of our culture to get people to give Krishna consciousness to others, somehow or other, to find the ways and the means to make people more aware of Lord Krishna. The times change and the approach, how we're going to do it, is difficult. I was in South India some months ago now. I was in Trivandrum, and the devotee there was telling me now they have 18 centers in Trivandrum. He said they have the one big center, the main center, and then they have many small satellite centers. And usually these centers, they only open like one day a week. They have a program one day a week, like a Sunday program, or maybe Saturday program, or whatever. But usually it's a householder couple are taking care of it. Just not a lot of people. They don't have an ashram. They don't have brahmacharis staying there or anything. Things. So it's a little different. Generally, we think ISKCON center, you have a big center, and you have an ashram, and you have brahmacharis and everything like that. But, they just have a center. It's more like a Christian church, you could say, something like that. They have their temples, and they have their programs, and they build up a congregation. And it's convenient for people to come. Rather than traveling a lot, they can come to a nearby center and have a program. So that's, kind of innovation. It's a little bit of a change from how things used to be. But I think Prabhupada would be pleased that the preaching is expanding. More and more people are coming to Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada knew not everybody's going to come and live in the temple. And the people living in the temple, not always going to stay in the temple. That after some time they'll also move out. Many change their ashram and so on. And so but they're still devotees. We can't say they're not devotees anymore. They're still devotees. So we have to understand Krishna consciousness in a broader sense. That it changed from the ashram basis, became more congregations. There are congregations everywhere. We don't, previously, in 1970s and even 80s, it was all ashram. We were all living in the temples. But gradually, less and less people living in the temple and more congregation preaching. And we want to develop the congregations. But it's not a deviation. Krishna, having Sankirtan, celebrating festivals and so on, these things all go on. And just in different places, different numbers of people. So, we have to be willing to come up with new methods of presenting Krishna consciousness. We have to be flexible and try to find out new ways of bringing people in, exposing people to Krishna, bringing them to Krishna's service. So that's my response. No time? Okay.
We are running out of time.
Okay. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
His Holiness Narasimha Swami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So thank you Maharaj for a very wonderful katha on Govardhan Lila. So important announcements, very brief. The buses, because we know there is not parking space here. So we'll have one by one buses will come and we will announce. The bus numbers are not important. We just like around 30 people board one bus, then the bus will go. The next batch waits. So just stay here inside. We will announce and then enough people board the bus will go. It's raining outside, so you cannot wait outside. So please wait inside. So that's one thing. And another thing is, you must have seen the schedule. So we are going back. Then there is lunch. After lunch, there is a much needed break, and then after that, there is a evening kirtan and class by Maharaj in hall. And the sponsors, we want to offer our gratitude. So therefore, Maharaj will be giving some gifts, and those devotees who have sponsored, they must have been informed, but they have to sit in the front. There is a special seating so that Maharaj doesn't have to run around, and we can quickly and effectively manage that. So please take note of that. Thank you. Hare Krishna.